All right, so this is now Monday, the 30th of May.
Yes.
It's nighttime, and we've come to the end of a busy day, and we're now recording our update.
Yeah.
Because we think it's important to keep our friends and our supporters updated. So guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for your interest in what we're doing out here. We love you. We decided we're going to do this recording even though it's late.
Yeah.
Because it's important.
Yes, I think if we don't do the recording, sometimes the things just pile up, and then things that were really important to us, or things that happened in the week that were either exciting or significant, doesn't get reported on. And
it's been an interesting week.
Some interesting challenges that we had this week, so it is good to reflect on that.
Yeah, so I know you've been struggling with filtering the water, which we do in this house. I also welded up a rocket stove to help with our gas consumption here. I got sick doing that, and during this all I also set up a structure for new solar panels that we're putting up so that we can have more power in this house. So it's been quite busy. I think one of the biggest things that we struggled with this week has been the water. Water filtration. So why don't you tell us from your perspective the water situation and what you've been doing to try and solve it?
We kind of thought that we have a hang of this water filtration situation when my new filter arrived, the Berkey filter that we ordered from South Africa.
Which is a brilliant filter.
It's a brilliant filter. It filters out like 99.999% of every bacteria and virus and whatever else and so on, and it's great. But because we're putting this very I would say poorer quality of water in from the Zambezi River directly into the water filter, it very quickly develops this like biofilm deposit which comes onto the outside of those elements.
What it really is like, in the river when you go walk on the stones in the river, on the rocks,
the algae or that
algae,
moss.
the stones that are slippery, it's that slippery stuff.
Yeah, so if you touch the filter elements, the candles, then they have this like sliminess on them, and it slows down the filtration rate. So in the end, you can fill it up, and the next morning you don't even have a full liter that's filtered through the night. And so,
but before you analyze this problem, we first started to try and get rid of most of the other dirt, right? You were filtering with something else.
Yes, but I think it was because of the the slowing of the filter rate. So immediately I had already, within the first 2 weeks of having the new filter, I had already had to clean it out, empty it out, wash everything, and the deposits that were settling onto the filter elements was just too much. And I knew, according to all the research I'd done, that these Berkey filters you're only supposed to clean like once a year or twice a year. But now within less than a month, I'm already having to clean it and scrub those elements because of the flow rate that's so slow. So I started thinking, okay, I need to filter it before I put it into the filter. So I was filtering the water, and then we actually brought in the other filter that had the soapy smell, and I was using it still has the soapy smell. So I put the water in that, filtering it through, and then using that to filter in the Berkey. But that also was getting clogged, and it was so slow that I created my own DIY sand filter. So basically by using a bottle, putting layers of cotton wool and then sand and stones and then some more cotton wool, and then filtering the water through that so that I could get semi-clean water that I could then filter through the Berkey filter. But it was also not helping because you're still getting that slimy thing, and it still slows down the filtration.
So the slimy thing.
Right.
We found that there is a different solution there. Filtering is not going to get that out.
On some YouTube videos, lots of research and things like that, we found that if you create or culture some lactobacillus bacteria,
that's a big word.
Yes, or they also call it lactic acid bacteria, but you can culture it using rice water and milk, and you can get that and use that to spray into the Berkey filter at the top. It would eat on the algae and so on that was building onto that. So I'm busy culturing it now, and we'll see if that's going to help and give us a solution to our problem.
Wow. Well, sounds like you got quite your hands full there trying to get us clean,
drinking water.
Water.
Yeah.
Which is vital.
It's like a full-time job, you know, filtering the water first in through the sand filter, then filtering it there. It's like a full-time job.
And now creating this lactobacillus or whatever.
Yeah, lactobacillus bacteria.
Let's hope that's going to help. Other YouTubers have found that to be a solution, so hopefully that'll help, and we'll keep our supporters updated. I was welding up a rocket stove.
Yeah, it was a public holiday on Wednesday, so you had a day to yourself. It wasn't a
the workers
working
weren't
day.
here, so I didn't have to arrange them to do different things. And I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube as well, and I've found that a rocket stove is one of the things that'll work well for us here.
But also, the rocket stove, I suppose, is a It's a practice run on the thing that you want to do with the boiler.
With the boiler, the geyser.
It started with
I have
geyser.
Yes, I'm going to make a rocket stove geyser, donkey geyser, which is what we're busy working on for the lodge. But that's a much bigger setup, and so I do need to practice both my welding and whether or not the rocket stove will work, because I haven't welded in like 10 years. I used to weld a lot on the farm with my dad, but since then I haven't welded. I did a little bit of welding after I left home, but not much. So I did practice my welding, because when I weld up that geyser, it needs to be a watertight weld, and it needs to hold the pressure of the water, because as the water heats up, it's going to build pressure in there, and the welds need to at least hold. So I need to be able to weld good. So, and also the rocket stove also is going to help us to boil water.
Yeah.
Because the gas stove uses up a lot of gas to boil water, and the rocket stove can boil water pretty quick.
Yeah.
And just using some sticks and stuff, so it doesn't even use much of the environmental resources.
We're also still using our Wonder Bag there, Graham from Wien.
The Wonder Bag is also helping us to save gas. We got to try and find various solutions to save on what we have here, because we're so far out here. To go and buy gas, literally we have to drive 7 hours to Sulawesi to buy gas.
Yeah.
So we want to save whatever gas we have. Anyway, so I built the rocket stove, but I didn't have lots of metal to work with, and I worked with scrap metal, and the scrap metal that I had was galvanized metal. And the one thing that I failed to remember is that when welding galvanized metal, you need to be careful, because there's fumes that come off as the metal is heated up. And by the end of the day of welding that galvanized metal, I was finished. I just felt depleted. I had no energy. I didn't know what was wrong. I thought I got sunstroke. But it was clearly this metal fume fever, which I found out later is what you get when you weld galvanized metal without paying attention to how you're doing it. Anyway, so...
And we were rather worried, because, I mean, I didn't know what was wrong. It was not like you to not want to eat and to just want to go lie down. And we were braaiing that night, and you were so depleted, and you were just like out of breath. So we were worried, but at least we were able to figure out what it was.
So I was in bed for most of Thursday, in fact the whole of Thursday, and Friday morning I started feeling good enough to carry on my work.
And what work were you doing on Friday?
Well, on Friday I was completing work I started on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that was putting up a new structure to hold the solar panels. We installing new solar panels up on the roof here. What's up on the roof? It's actually as part of our veranda. We're extending, making a little veranda, and putting the solar panels on top of that, and that'll add some more power to our electric systems. But it's a work in process. I managed to get it, the structure itself completed. But there was a lot of fun working on it, and helping the guys to use the power tools, and trying to teach them how to use these things. It was a lot of fun.
I think it's quite handy, or at least a useful. It's a discipleship process as well with the guys that we're working with, because they're helping you with your language while at the same time you're teaching them the different parts.
Rainford and Henry are such a vital resource. in helping us learn the language.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so keen to teach us how to say something or what this is or what that is.
But it's also because you're keen to learn.
Yeah.
So I think it does
they're
make
offering a lot of different phrases, and sometimes it's too much. I can't keep up making the notes.
Yeah.
Try and slow them down. Just slow down. But it's been a lot of fun working with the guys and building that structure, putting it up. This coming week, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it because I have harvesters training this week, from tomorrow, actually, Tuesday afternoon through to Thursday afternoon. So it's the whole afternoon, 2 to 5 on those 3 days. And then it carries on the following week, because I'm catching up some of the training. I want to get this done so that I can actually start teaching the pastors. The harvesters training material is the pastor training stuff that we are using to teach the pastors here in the field. And before I can teach this material, I actually need to be taught to teach it. Yeah. I have to be taught as a leader or a trainer. And so that's really what I'm going through right now. So it's going to be a busy week of that for me. Yeah.
So what's been your biggest challenge this week, would you say, if you sum the week up?
Biggest challenge? That was just a health issue that I had. Yeah.
And the biggest highlight?
Biggest highlight would have been finishing that rocket stove. I mean, seeing that rocket stove work has been a great highlight.
Yeah. And it's been cool watching it. I mean, we made a couple of pots of tea, and every time we need hot water, then even early in the morning when it's cold, Michael's like, I'm going to go and light this rocket stove. And he gets so excited with it. So, that was...
What is your biggest challenge, love?
I definitely the water filtration, and just feeling like it's an endless job. Like it just consumes so much of my time, and the frustration of it, because like you put so much effort into it and you're still getting a slow filtration, and I need the water to be able to do all the things I'm doing in the kitchen. So that's been a big frustration for me, and I think just disappointing. And I'm guessing you're going to ask what's my biggest highlight.
Yeah.
And I think just you being better again. I can't think of anything else right. This week hasn't been a lot of highlights. I think for me it's been a bit frustrating.
What about those kids and those...
Oh yes, actually, but okay. So
tell us about those kids.
Okay, so
I thought that would be a highlight for you.
It was, but it wasn't in my mind because it kind of happened today that everything. This morning we were having a meeting, which we have every week on Mondays, and I think I was kind of struggling with just feeling a little bit useless, as in there's a lot of things happening around me and around us, but I'm in the kitchen a lot of the time, and there's not a lot of things that I can be useful in, things that I can do except for cooking, cleaning.
Beg to differ, but I know you feel that way.
Yes, okay, all right, but I feel like I'm not. I don't have anything big doing. So I try and find things to do and so on, and then the things I do is not always a priority. So this morning in the meeting, it was brought up, like, why don't you start with the teaching thing? Use one of the rooms in the lodge and clean it up and use it up as a classroom. And immediately when they said that, it triggered a memory of these kids who've been coming here, because Leslie said to me, but just get 4 or 5 kids and start with that. And I thought to myself, there are actually 4 or 5 kids, because there were 5 girls actually who came and visited here, and they were actually snooping around, and I intercepted them, and I was like, what are you doing here? And this is private property and so on. And then they were like, they're just coming to get some cans from the scrap heap. And then I said, okay, it's fine. And I said, well, they shouldn't be within within the fence. But as they walked, they called me, and they said, do you have kids, and where are you from, and things. So I started having a conversation with them, and I told them that my Luvali name was Masole. And then a few days later, I was walking down from the office, and then I heard somebody calling Masole, Masole, and then I saw it was the 2 girls, 2 of the 5 girls, and they asked me if I remember their names. Unfortunately, I remembered one of their names, the other one I didn't remember, but I'd written their names down. So one is Beauty and the other one was Elizabeth, and they said they came to visit, and I thought it was very cute. So when Leslie said we need to have some, 4 or 5 kids, I thought of these girls. And today the girls were back here again, and they brought 4 boys with as well. So now the group has grown. So it's the 5 girls plus 4 boys. So I got their names as well. So I might have a group of 9 or so. And I told them to come on Friday afternoon. I'm going to work to get that room ready, and then we will do some reading.
Even if it's just under a tree.
Yeah.
And people come and then you teach them.
But I can get them to help me get the room ready as well. So it's like, come, let's do this and that, and then we sit and read a book together and we just talk. So it will be good. It's my first little disciples.
Nice, exciting.
So yeah,
exciting. So I thought that would have been your highlight.
Yeah, I didn't think about it now. I was just
just those little friends you're making, and it's a nice step forward for the English teaching, which is on your heart, and I think you'll be very good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, definitely do subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Like this video if you like it, and just push the like button, the thumbs up button, and then subscribe. If you subscribe, then you'll be notified in your YouTube stream that we're putting up new content next time we put up a video.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for your support and your encouragement. We appreciate your comments. Please do keep in touch with us. I love you lots.
Bye.
Bye.